Order, honorable members. Let us all be seated. Thank you. Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, EGH, MP, Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 132, Sub-Article 1B of our Constitution provides that the President shall address a special sitting of Parliament once every year and may address Parliament at any other time. Article 132, Sub-Article 1C of our Constitution further provides that the President shall, among others, once every year, report in an address to the nation all the measures taken and the progress made or achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10 of the Constitution. In addition, Article 240, Sub-Article 7 of the Constitution requires the President in his capacity as the chairperson of the National Security Council to report to Parliament annually on the state of security in Kenya. In this regard, the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, via the letter dated reference EOP/CAB.26/4A, Volume 4, into brackets 178, and dated the 9th of September 2024, informed the Speakers of the Houses of Parliament of the intention of His Excellency, the President, to address Parliament. Consequently, and upon consultation, the address to Parliament by His Excellency the President was scheduled for today, Thursday, the 21st of November, 2024. Pursuant to Standing Order 25(2) of the Senate Standing Orders, I notified honorable senators of the place, date, and time of today's special sitting via Gazette Notice number 148/29, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on Friday, the 15th of November, 2024. Further, together with the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, I notified all members of Parliament and the general public of today's special sitting via notices placed in 3 local newspapers yesterday, Wednesday, the 20th of November, 2024. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Amason King, EGH MP, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 132(1) Parliament to the members of the National Assembly. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, This year's President's address comes at a time when the country is set to host the 14th edition of the East African Community Interparliamentary Games. The Interparliamentary Games shall bring together participants from the member states of the East African Community and the East African Legislative Assembly, and are part of the deepening, widening, and tightening of the integration process. The Games are scheduled to commence next month on 7th December 2024 in Mombasa County, and all is set in readiness for these Games. Moving on, Your Excellency, it's in the custom of Parliament to recognize invited guests seated in our galleries. I therefore wish to recognize the following guests who are seated in the Speaker's row. Her Excellency Mama Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, and other members of the First Family. His Excellency Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the spouse of the Deputy President, Her Excellency Dr. Joyce Kithure. Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, EGH, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. Your Excellency, honorable members, also present in the Speaker's row this afternoon are the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mbete Mwilu, MGH, Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court. She's accompanied by Honorable Justice Mohammed K. Ibrahim and Justice William Ouko. Justice William Ouko, judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Also accompanying the Deputy Chief Justice are Honorable Justice Oscar Angote, presiding judge of the Environment and Land Court. Honorable Justice Lady Justice Jemima Wanza Kelly, judge of the Employment and Labor Relations Court. We are also honored to have in our midst the immediate former speakers of the Houses of Parliament, the Honorable Justin Bedan Njoka Muturi, EGH, the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Human Capital Development, the Honorable Kenneth Marende, EGH, the Honorable Kenneth Makelo Lusaka, EGH, the current Governor of Bungoma County, Honorable Ekwe Ethro, and additionally, we also are pleased to be hosting a delegation visiting our parliament from the Republic of the Gambia. Your Excellency, allow me to also recognize the chairperson of the Council of Governors, who is also the Governor of Wajir County, the Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi, and the Honorable Johnson Sakaja, Governor of the City of Nairobi County. May I also accord special recognition to all Cabinet Secretaries present, and particularly acknowledge 4 of them who are former ranking members of the Houses of Parliament, namely Aden Duale, EGH, former leader of the majority party in the National Assembly, Honorable Onesimus Murkomen, EGH, former Senate Majority Leader, Honorable John Badi, EGH, Honorable Opio Wandai, EGH, both former leaders of the minority in the National Assembly. I need not mention that His Excellency, the Deputy President, is a former leader of majority in the Senate. I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Felix Kosgei, Chief of Staff and Head of the Public Service, Principal Secretaries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and heads of constitutional commissions and independent offices and state corporations present. They are all welcome to the House of Parliament. Your Excellency, I wish to make a special welcome to Parliament and mention the Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, General Daniel Kahariri, who is present, and the respective service commanders, the Inspector General of Police, and other leaders of our disciplined forces who are seated at the Speaker's row. Parliament is grateful for your distinguished service to our great nation. To all invited guests, we say karibuni sana kwa bunge letu. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces to address this special sitting of Parliament. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Speakers of Parliament, the Honorable Members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to address you today in the fulfillment of the mandate vested in me under Article 1321C of the Constitution to report to you and to the people of Kenya on the measures we have taken and the progress we have made in realizing our national values and principles of governance, and to submit to you, honorable members, the progress made in fulfilling our international obligations. Since my last address, Kenya has undergone rapid change, occasioned by the collective awakening of the people in the understanding that the state of nation depends on the work we do individually and collectively. This realization extends not only to what we choose to undertake, but also to how we go about securing careers, livelihoods, and contributing to the grand enterprise of nation building. There has never been doubt, and now there is none whatsoever, that Kenya is a land of bold ambition, with our citizens always desiring and insisting on the best possible standards, not only for themselves, but also for their families and for our nation. Consequently, our democracy has empowered citizens to ask questions and demand changes in the way their affairs are managed, driving the wheels of our nation's social, political, and economic transformation faster in the direction of excellence and prosperity. Rare are the times when leadership is ahead of the people. We are always striving to steer the machinery of state and government to keep pace with the aspirations of our citizens. We have learned through the hard as well as the more customary ways that listening is a full-time occupation of leadership, and that all questions asked by the people must be answered thoroughly and in full. We have learned never to take anything for granted and make every effort to call all our people, to carry all our people along with us in the pursuit of our transformation. The context in which I make this national address is not only significantly different from previous occasions, but it is also a singular moment with unique historical implications for us all. It is an opportunity to affirm the principles and values of which our nation stands, review the steps we have taken, the path we have chosen in our journey of national development, and reinforce the commitments we have made to one another and to our beloved nation for the sake of the present and future generations. I do not take this for granted, and with utmost respect and humility before this august assembly of the people's elected representatives, I desire to respond to the most pressing concerns that have been raised by Kenyans of all walks of life in recent months. To my understanding, the concerns and issues voiced by millions of Kenyans about the state of our nation deserve meaningful engagement, thorough understanding and thoughtful response. There are discussions about whether leaders understand the pain, hardship, and struggles endured by countless citizens every day as they strive to make ends meet, and whether the government is doing anything about it. Similarly, many struggling Kenyans impatiently wonder, when will real money get to their pockets, and when will the jobs promised, which they deserve, become a reality? Additionally, there has been conversations about our education system, particularly the transition to the competence-based curriculum, and whether policies in this sector are working for or against Kenyans. Important questions have also been raised concerning the direction of development in relation to democracy, human rights, and fundamental freedoms, as well as the rule of law, transparency, and accountability. Another more direct question that emerges every now and then is whether public policy in this administration is in furtherance of service delivery to citizens or just in aid of political strategy. It is undeniable that for many Kenyans, times are hard and the struggle to meet their daily basic needs remains daunting. It is also true that these conditions have persisted for a number of years now, leading to much frustration and anxiety. Although we have gone a long way to mitigate some of these difficulties, much remains to be done, though we have laid a firm foundation for decisive intervention. I believe that it is critical for us to bear in mind that this administration was inaugurated at an extremely difficult time, characterized by domestic challenges, compounded by regional and global security, geopolitical, financial, as well as climate dynamics. As a result, in 2022, the country's total debt burden was not immense, immense, but it was also stacked up in the most burdensome manner, leaving very little room for investments in public service or development of critical infrastructure. The prices of basic food commodities soared as a result of a combination of prolonged drought, declining local productivity due to inadequate support, and disruptions in the global supply chain caused by the war in Europe. Kenya faced a crossroads of extremely difficult choices, where defaulting on our obligations would have significantly worsened an already perilous situation, and more borrowing was not an option. It was therefore essential for us to drastically reduce expenditure, mobilize as much as possible resources domestically, and curtail waste. As I informed the nation then, matters were going to get more difficult before they could get better. And we all had to tighten our belts and work hard under very unforgiving conditions. We had staked the fate of our ambitious bottom-up economic transformation agenda on easing the stress that the economy was in and the strain citizens underwent, while creating room for the implementation of our transformative interventions. Members, I give this background to underscore two very important facts. First, we haven't been watching helplessly and doing nothing as adversity took a toll on the economy and undermined the livelihoods and well-being of the people. On the contrary, we have been working tirelessly to steer the country away from the brink of unprecedented economic collapse and onto a more promising trajectory. The second point is that while we may not be where we would like to be, we are certainly not where we were 2.25 years ago. At the same time, the cost of living was substantially high, with prices of basic commodities beyond the reach of many households. Today, I'm proud to report that the macroeconomic indicators point to a positive turnaround and an upward trajectory. Allow me to highlight a few milestones that underscore this progress. The shilling has stabilized significantly, appreciating from Kenya shillings 162 to the dollar in February 2024 to Kenya shillings 129 today, a remarkable gain of 20%. This recovery has restored confidence in our financial markets and significantly reduced the cost of servicing external debt, creating fiscal space for our development imperatives. Inflation has declined dramatically from 9.6% in September 2022 to 2.7% in October this year, the lowest rate in 17 years. This achievement has been the consequence of favorable weather and our deliberate efforts to support farmers with affordable inputs, including subsidized fertilizer, leading not only to increased production but also productivity and lowering the prices of many cereals, including maize, pulses such as beans and peas. Our foreign exchange reserves have surged by US dollars 2.4 billion to hit a new record of US dollars 9.5 billion, providing a 4.8 month of import cover, the highest in 10 years. This resilience yields us or shields us from external shocks in the global economy and restores investor confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, interest rates are also trending downwards, reducing borrowing costs and freeing up fiscal space for growth-enhancing initiatives by business. Tax revenues have grown by 11.5% in the year to June 2024, reflecting the success of our tax-based expansion measures. The economy continues to grow steadily, recording a 5.6% growth rate in 2023, among the highest globally. We project 5% growth this year and 5.6% growth next year. Honorable members, our efforts to secure food security and stability are already bearing fruit. Since February, we have distributed subsidized fertilizer to 6.45 million registered farmers in 45 counties, enabling them to increase their yields. And this year, we have procured and through e-vouchers distributed 7 million bags of both planting and top dressing fertilizer to boost food production across the country. This intervention will see a projected increase in maize production, for example, to a record 74 million 90 kilogram bags. We have also concluded long-term agreements with 11 suppliers of assorted fertilizers, agricultural output, but also reduce our reliance on costly food imports, securing a more self-reliant and a more prosperous Kenya. This approach, rooted in my administration's policy to support production rather than subsidize consumption, has already made food more accessible, more affordable to many households. Today, Kenya boasts substantial national stocks. 47 million bags of 90 kilogram bags of maize are in our stores. 8.8 million bags of beans, 10.4 million bags of wheat, and 2.1 million bags of rice. Slowly but surely, we are building a food-secure Kenya, where families need not to worry or worry less about their next meal. In the sugar sector, we have achieved a historic milestone. All 17 sugar factories across Kenya are now operational, producing at impressive levels, while 4 new sugar factories are under construction. In July alone, domestic sugar production reached 84